He said the same thing. I don't believe, and he doesn't believe that there are kids, because you don't yank around and use a leg.
Said the same. He said the same thing. I don't believe, and he doesn't believe that there are kids because you don't yank around and use a limb. Never heard of a baby bump or being so variable, and not to mention swinging from side to side. Let's do the cha, or shall we do chubby checker? Let's twist again like we never touched. It just seems that these two can't get anything right, particularly when it comes to the royal family is in complete meltdown mode. And this time there's no escape from the truth. A mysterious woman calling herself DL has just dropped the most explosive bombshell in royal history, claiming she's the biological mother of Archie and Leet. But here's the kicker. Harry just accidentally confirmed everything. The royal family is scrambling tonight, and this time there's nowhere left to hide. A mysterious woman using the alias DL has just stepped forward with the most explosive allegations in royal history, claiming she's not just a surrogate, but the actual biological mother of Archie and Leet. This isn't some tabloid rumor or internet conspiracy theory. We're talking about someone who says she has hospital records, NDAs, and financial documentation that could bring down the entire Sussex House of Cards. Also, where Meghan and Harry made some major mistakes that only fueled all of these rumors and issues surrounding their handling of the children, the privacy, all of it. They created a really big mess of Archie's birth. Quite frankly, what makes DL's claims absolutely terrifying for Harry and Meghan is the level of detail she's providing. She's not making vague accusations or speaking in riddles. This alleged woman is talking about specific dates, medical procedures, and legal agreements that only someone with intimate knowledge of the situation would possess. The implications are staggering because if her allegations are true, we're looking at the biggest fraud ever perpetrated against the royal family. Think about what this means for the royal family. Archie and Lilith are currently regarded as direct members, but if they're not Meghan's biological children, their entire claim to royal heritage crumbles instantly. DL allegedly claims she has signed non-disclosure agreements that have kept her silent for years, but something has clearly changed. Sources suggest she's grown increasingly frustrated watching Harry and Meghan parade around as the perfect royal family while she remains hidden in the shadows. The woman who allegedly carried and gave birth to these children has been erased from their story completely. They played games, and you know what they did? They won stupid prizes, more controversies, more conspiracies. It's theories. More theories thrown their way and more fuel and evidence to the theories of surrogates. But here's where it gets even more explosive. DL isn't just claiming she was a surrogate who carried Meghan's eggs. She's alleging that these children are biologically hers, created with her own genetic material. If that's true, then Harry and Meghan have been living a lie that goes far deeper than anyone imagined. According to sources, the palace has reportedly been in emergency meetings since these allegations surfaced, desperately trying to figure out how to contain what could be the most damaging scandal in modern royal history. The timing of DL's decision to speak out is particularly significant. With growing questions about the children's origin and mounting pressure from multiple sources, it seems like the perfect facade is finally breaking. The woman who allegedly holds the key to this entire mystery has decided that silence is no longer an option. Prince Harry might have just accidentally confirmed everything we've been suspecting about the surrogate situation, and he doesn't even realize the bombshell he's dropped. In his memoir, Spare, Harry made what seemed like an innocent comment about being home within 2 hours of Archie's birth. But medical experts are now saying this timeline is virtually impossible if Meghan had actually given birth naturally. Any woman who has given birth will tell you that recovery doesn't happen in 2 hours. We're talking about a major physical trauma that requires extended hospital observation, especially for first-time mothers. The fact that Harry casually mentioned being home so quickly suggests he either has no understanding of childbirth, or he's accidentally revealed that the birth didn't happen the way they've claimed. Another piece of evidence are the events that occurred on the birth date of Prince Archie. In a real dramatic fashion, they did not tell the public right after Meghan went into labor. What Meghan and Harry did instead was keep Archie's birth private for over 8 hours. They did not tell people that he was actually born and arrived until 8 hours later. They also issued a confusing press release suggesting Meghan had just gone into labor after Archie had already been born. So they were playing games here with this. And the result was that the media and the public felt misled because they were misled. Why would you do that? Why are you lying to people? Why are you trying to mislead people? And naturally, this is only going to end up being fuel for surrogacy rumors, because why else are you being sort of suspicious and secretive around labor and birth unless you're trying to shuffle out a surrogate? But Harry's timeline problems don't stop there. His own account of the birth is filled with inconsistencies that become more glaring the closer you examine them. He describes rushing to the hospital, but then mentions being home almost immediately afterward. Where's the extended labor? Where are the hours of recovery? Where's the natural bonding time that new parents typically spend in the hospital? Medical professionals who have analyzed Harry's statements are raising serious red flags about the plausibility of his version of events. One obstetrician pointed out that even with the most straightforward delivery, new mothers typically remain under medical supervision for at least 24 hours. The idea that Meghan was ready to leave the hospital within hours of giving birth is medically questionable at best. Posed a whole load of questions to Buckingham Palace about the birth of Archie, because I've never believed that the circumstances around the birth of Archie. What's even more suspicious is how Harry registered Archie's birth and then had to make multiple amendments to the birth certificate. He was the one providing all the information to the registrar, which raises questions about why there were so many errors that needed correcting. When you're registering your own child's birth, you don't typically need to make multiple corrections unless something fundamental about the situation isn't straightforward. Harry's own words are becoming the strongest evidence against the official narrative. Every time he tries to provide details about the births, he inadvertently creates more questions than answers. His accidental admissions are painting a picture that doesn't match what the public has been told. The smoking evidence everyone's been waiting for has finally emerged, and it's coming from the most unexpected source. Sources claim that Portland Hospital, the exclusive London medical facility where Archie was supposedly born, has no record of Meghan Markle ever being admitted as a patient. Think about that for a moment. We're talking about one of the most high-profile births in recent royal history, and the hospital has absolutely no documentation of it ever happening. This revelation is absolutely devastating, because it completely contradicts the official birth story that Harry and Meghan have been pushing for years. Remember, they initially claimed Archie was going to be born at Frogmore Cottage in a planned home birth. Then suddenly, without any explanation, the story changed to Portland Hospital. But now we're discovering that Portland Hospital has no records of Meghan ever being there. Which raises the obvious question, where exactly was this child born? The 7-hour delay in announcing Archie's birth is starting to make perfect sense when you consider these missing hospital records. The palace claimed there were technical difficulties with their communication systems, but that explanation never made sense. In 2019, if your email system fails, you pick up a phone. The real reason for the delay was likely that they were scrambling to get their story straight and create the necessary documentation to support their narrative. What Dan Wooten uncovered about that South Africa flight is absolutely devastating, and it's coming from someone who was actually there watching everything unfold in real time. We're talking about a senior British Airways flight attendant who approached Dan directly during one of his own flights completely unprompted because she was so disturbed by what she witnessed that she felt compelled to speak out. This wasn't some random crew member looking for attention. This was a seasoned professional who had been working international flights for years and had never seen anything like Meghan's behavior toward her own child. The flight attendant told Dan that during the entire journey to South Africa in September 2019, when Archie was just 4 months old, Meghan refused to touch or look after him even once. Flight Meghan refused to touch or look after Archie even once. She didn't look at him. She had zero interest when he was upset. And she expected the staff the entire time to take care of that baby. Think about that for a moment. We're talking about a transatlantic flight, hours and hours in the air, and a mother who showed absolutely zero interest in her infant son. When Archie became upset or needed attention, Meghan expected the flight staff and nannies to handle everything while she remained completely detached from the situation. But here's what makes this even more chilling. The flight attendant was adamant.